going on, you guys? The Real Shot 256. Welcome to another edition of Evening Crypto. Love to have you guys here. Thank you for, if you're watching the video for the first time, thank you for watching. Let us know what you think of the video, the content we're about to bring you. Usually, what I do is some technical analysis on Bitcoin and a few other top 10, maybe top 15 crypto coins, crypto projects. And then we also talk a little bit about news. And I wanted to do a video tonight because sorry about that, you guys. Because I think it's important to talk about what just happened today with the big move and the big dip, what to expect, where we're going from here. And so I try to give you my perspective on things and try to give you my best opinion on where we're going. Although anybody can get this wrong. Technical analysis can only take you so far, so just keep that in mind. We can only do um, the best analysis based on the information that we have, and just keep that in mind when you're trading. Follow the price action, and sometimes TA will give you some hints at what's coming. So we try to maximize those opportunities as much as we can. Again, it's not going to work perfectly every time. As I said in my last video, I'm kind of regretted it now, kind of sort of, but I said on my last video that I think we're ready to call it at the end of the bear market. Not really into a full-on bull market, but definitely in a transitional phase, definitely a transitional chapter in the overall state of the market right now, where we are really just consolidating, making a decision on what Bitcoin's price is going to be for the next few weeks, maybe next few months, and then definitely I think we're going to have continuation to the upside. So taking a look at the overall market and where we stand currently, and also I apologize about my voice. I'm actually fighting a sore throat actually. Um, so I'll try to get through this video. I'm going to try to make it a short one to the point, and give you guys as much information as I possibly can before my voice runs out. So we're currently sitting at 256 billion for market cap. We were at 275 yesterday before this dip, and currently trading around $81 billion in the last 24 hours. We pretty much can take a look here. Everything is in red. It's sort of a bloodbath right now with overall crypto market. Cosmos kind of actually been on the up and up. Probably one of the few coins that's actually been doing that. Bitcoin Gold getting hit pretty hard, but everything is right now. So um, you know, we'll just take a look at a few projects, a few coins, and give you my perspective, my opinion on things, and we'll go from there. All right, guys. So taking a look at Bitcoin right here, right now, we're sitting at about 8,024 on Binance, I believe. Actually, Bitfinex. Let me switch over to um, Binance because that's where I trade. But I was looking at Bitfinex because it's got more of a lengthier history. So a lot of times these moving averages are a little different. Um, but overall, here's the 1 hour chart. I want to look at this. I hardly ever look at the 1 hour chart for um, for my analysis. But right now, given that we just had a big dip right here in the last few hours, um, I wanted to look at the more granular aspect of these moves and see if we were starting to bounce back. We've officially started to bounce back, but not with any convincing volume, not with any conviction. So right now, I think Bitcoin's still trying to make up its mind as to if it's going to stay there or keep tracking down. But we'll see. We're going to have to wait this out for a few more hours. We might, obviously after a dip, we do always get a correction, or after a big hike, we also get a correction, and then we see the Bitcoin price settling somewhere in the middle, somewhere in between, like we do see here, right? Up, consolidation, then up, and then we corrected downward, and then up, consolidate upwards, and then we try to make a base here, and then again another hike and correction. So I think that's what we're trying to do here. Something similar to this we should see um, Bitcoin do in the next hours and a couple days until the next big move, right? Um, so, and then I want to look at the 4 hour as well because I want to show you guys something that's more meaningful than the 1 hour. It actually paints it a little bit better than the 1 hour does. That's why I look at 4 hour and above. So taking a look at the 4 hour action right now, we've actually set a lower low, and I told you guys on my one of my previous videos that for the first time we set a lower high throughout this trend, right? For the first time, a real high, a real lower high, and I told you guys that that was definitely concerning to me. That was going to start to be something that I would pay more attention to because it could mean potentially I wasn't ready to call it back then, and I'm still not ready to call it. I'm not ready to call the end of this run or the end of the trend, but it's definitely making a good case for it right now with this price action here. We're starting to make a descending channel here on the 4 hour where we see this channel of support and resistance up here, support down here, but look, it's trending downward. It is, um, it did make a lower high, and it also made a lower low, which is again a downtrend, right? And now here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for it to make another lower high. Anything below the 8750 range would be a lower high, right? And then anything below, depending where we close these next candles here, but if we end up going back up to test this resistance here and just keep it there, then we're going to trace back down to make another lower low, and that's going to be key, right? That's going to be a big thing, big indicator as to where we might be moving forward. All right, guys. So that's definitely something that I'm keeping an eye on, and then I want to show you guys the daily because I think this is pretty significant as well. We have seen the 21 being sort of the bearer for Bitcoin here along this entire run. We see it. We see the 21 exponential here in yellow kind of carry the price action upwards as Bitcoin has been moving up and up and up. And ever since this last point here, it hasn't really tested it up until now, right? And up until today, it actually tested the 21, and this is on the daily. So it tested it, and it's right now sitting right on top of it. So that's why I'm not ready to get bearish on it right now, because of this one thing right here that's holding the price up is the 21 exponential still holding the price action here for Bitcoin. We can, and also the daily candle just started, so we can definitely make a run to the upside here and turn this candle green, right? The day candle just started after 5 o'clock after 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So there's plenty of time to go in this candle. So we might potentially end this with a nice wick testing the orange 100 simple here, and then making its way back up to the 21. So as long as we're above the 21, I remain calm, right? I'm skeptic. I am worried a little bit, but I'm not ready to say, okay, we're on a full blown. We've actually turned the tide now. We're on a downtrend. So again, if we look at the 4 hour and the daily, and also look at 6 hour, the 8 hour, the 12 hour. Those higher time frames are going to paint a better picture of what to expect and what we're going to do. So definitely take a look at those. Again, we'll be we'll be doing this here for a little bit. Let's see. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Sorry, guys. So go up here, test that, um, and then down here and test. this support here. Um, and that's what I'm expecting to see in the next few days, until it actually decides what it wants to do. So I mean, at this point, um, the actually I want to look at what it is. I want to look at the daily here and talk about this. So so right now the RSI is dipping into, and let me enlarge this here so you guys can see a little bit better. But it did cross to the downside and into the bear territory. So this is also another sign that's pretty worrisome to me. We'll take a look at the weekly as well. And I mean, we've been on this run for so long. Bitcoin is definitely tired at this point, from all this beautiful price action and just overbought territory. I mean, just consistently on the top range of the stochastic RSI, and now it's finally making a move to the downside. Now, this is the weekly. We just started this yesterday, so it's pretty early on. But if we do see here that we start to step into this neutral territory here, and we do another thing, we do break the 21 on a daily, and also if we um, keep price action in between let's just call it below the 21 exponential. If we keep price action for the next few days under the 21, then I'm definitely looking for a bigger move, bigger retracement. The next resistance or next support level will be our 55 exponential here, which we should find some good support. But if it does break it, then we're going to see some bigger dips. Um, Again, I'm definitely weary about putting any trades in. If I were to say, and again, this is not financial advice, but I am definitely more on the short side right now, because of what I'm seeing. I'm leaning. Doesn't mean that's what I'm doing. I'm just leaning that way. Um, we'll figure it out. We'll have to wait for confirmation and see. Again, on the weekly, it's just the RSI is just looking absolutely exhausted. And it does look like it wants to come down to make a move down into this more neutral territory. And who knows, maybe dip into the bearish territory. And if that happens, then I am definitely calling for that 35 to 40% move retracement, whatever you want to call it, into the golden pocket zone that I've been talking to you guys about. I probably have been boring you with that saying and that a bit of information, but that's just where I see it going, and that's pretty much. I do believe that that's going to happen. So I have pretty good, almost 100%. I'm feeling almost 100% on that move. So doesn't mean that that's what you guys have to do. I'm actually tinkering here. Here's what I'm doing. Again, not financial advice. You guys do whatever you guys want to do. But I'm thinking that I might be selling my positions here if we break the 21 for a couple of days, at least 2 to 3 days. If we're below the 21, I think we're going to make another move for the 55. And actually, let's bring out our Fibonacci retracement tool here so we can kind of paint a better picture of what I'm talking about here, and then you guys can put numbers to my madness here. Let's see. I'm trying to bring it to the prior high, right, which was the expected move. I really thought we were going to finish this move here up to the actually above 9,500 and test the $10,000 range, but who knows? I mean, it looks like we might be coming to the end of this run, and again, going back to test these levels here. The golden pocket is where I'm looking at right now. Currently, um, from the current state or the current price of Bitcoin down into the zone, we'll make a measurement here, but I'm expecting about we'll use the 21 here as reference. I'm expecting about a 35 to 40% drop here. Let's just call it in the middle of the pocket right here. Would only be about 23% move from where we're currently at to the downside. Um, Now, if we were to say that this move started earlier, we can actually measure it from here and see if that gives us our target. About 28. So we really, I think we really are going to have to come down to these levels here, um, right below. This is where I'm putting my um, my target for the retracement. You know, we because and I'm using historical data here, not just not just because that's what I wanted to do. I'm using historical data here, um, because Bitcoin, sorry, has made these moves in the past. I need to go to um, I need to go to a chart that has more price action, more history. So, Bitcoin does or has made these wild moves to the downside. In fact, I want to show you this move here where we thought we were pretty much over the bear market. And here, here. So that this one's about 23%. Um, and then we have prior move here from this top, so 30% there. Um, so you get my point. Historically, it's. I mean, we can keep looking for those retracements that I'm telling you guys about. Um, but we have seen that price action do that. Correct about anywhere between 30 to 40%. I'm looking for more of a 35 to 40% retracement here going forward from where we're at now. And again, it just seems like this might be the time that we start doing that. We'll wait for confirmation. That's where I'm at with this. Um, and you guys can let me know what you think. If you guys agree with me or if you don't agree with me, definitely let me know in the comments. We can discuss. As far as the as far as what I want to see here, I definitely want to see Bitcoin on the lower time frames. For example, the 4 hour. I definitely want to see Bitcoin start closing some 4 hour candles above the 8250 range. So right around here, I'll put this as a target line, or the target price, price target action here. Right here is where I want to see Bitcoin close some 4 hour candles above this line, at this line or above this line, and then we can start to talk about a possible retracement to again, hopefully, although I'm not betting on this, but hopefully we can start another try at the maybe 87, $80 range, right around. Let me put another target line here. So right around 87 and a half. Right. If we do that, we'll we can kind of ease off the freaking out um, status and just kind of take things a little bit easier and just relax a little bit basically. So that's what I'm looking for. Hopefully this is all making sense to you guys. If it's not, let me know down in the comments. We can talk about it some more. And then as far as other coins like we looked at, let's look at Litecoin here. Get rid of that, and let's go take a look at Litecoin. See how it has been performing given the price action right now. I'm gonna go back to again Binance. Um, yeah, I mean it's following everything that Bitcoin is doing on the 4 hour. Looks a little worse than Bitcoin actually to me. Sitting below the 55. It also tested the 89 and also tested the 200 simple. And right now it's in between the 200 and the 89. Just kind of trying to make a decision. Um, if we don't again if we don't get a 4 hour close above the 89 here around 106, I'm going to call it 106. If we don't get a close on a 4 hour above that, then that, um, yeah, as long as we're closing 4 hour candles here above the 106, 6.5, we'll call it, then I'm overall going to expect maybe some more action to the downside here. Let's take a look at XRP. I think XRP was holding up okay, but let's take a look. Binance again. Yeah, no, it's given back. It's given back a lot of the gains. Now, the sad thing about this, and I told you guys, I warned you on my previous videos. The sad thing about this is, really we got really good news on XRP, and we got the golden cross over here, the 55 crossing the 200 to the upside, and actually getting some separation here. So as of my last video, I was pretty happy with this action here, looking at the 55 just spreading away from the 200 pretty nicely and pretty decisively. And then I always tell you guys, depends on what Bitcoin is going to do. It doesn't control its own fate. It doesn't control its own price action. It's sort of like every other coin, not just XRP, but just like every other coin, it highly just depends on what Bitcoin is doing. If Bitcoin decides to take a big, massive dump, then guess what? That's what everybody else is going to do. Although it did defend the two, sorry, what am I looking at? One, two, three. So it did defend the 377 pretty nicely here, and it actually stayed above the 21 on the daily. So, out of the two charts that we've looked at so far, I think this one looks the strongest right now. Because and I'm just judging based on because it's quite or well above the 21 right now. So it's sitting pretty up there. It still has some strength. I think, in my opinion, if Bitcoin had not taken this big massive dump that it just did today, I think we could have seen some higher highs over here. It was definitely a big opportunity for XRP after the golden cross. But if we keep going down this path where Bitcoin is trashing the party, then I think we're going to have to see some lower lows, or just XRP just kind of following along with whatever Bitcoin is doing, and just reach for lower price ranges into the 30 cent range down here. But again, I'm not ready to call that on XRP. It is actually looking like the strongest out of the three, just again because I'm looking at the 21 on the daily chart, and this is telling me that hey, we're not doing too bad right now. We're not in that bad of a shape. Um, Certainly looking better than Bitcoin and Litecoin so far. So good for XRP holders. If you're XRP holder and got in, somewhere down here, then you're sitting pretty. But again, if watch for Bitcoin and see what it's going to do, and if it decides to take another dump, then this is not a bad place to take some profits. So consider that, hopefully. And then let's take a look at Ether. Take a look at E, and see what it's currently doing. Um, Similar chart to Bitcoin. It's yeah, and to be honest, guys, Ether has just been one of those that just very closely mimics what Bitcoin does. Very, very closely. I mean, almost identical, right? Almost. It's sitting above the 21 again, but it's pretty close to it. It certainly does look like it wants to. Well, it already tested the. What do we have here? Um, it already tested this purple 377 over here. Let me make sure I have my colors coordinated correctly because it looks like something's throwing me off here. Let me make sure. Let's see. So this is my 10 simple. Okay, I kind of mixed up my colors, guys. So that I was a little confused with that. So it's looking like the 10 simple. It's defending the 10 simple here. Uh, um, but it does look like it wants to retest it here. Um, unless again we start closing some 4-hour candles above the 21, then that I start feeling like I can relax a little bit on Ether as far as going down to retest some lows. As far as support, we do have the orange 100 simple here, bringing us a little bit of support here, and also based on past price action, I think we're going to find some support here, and that's just speaking as kind of thinking that if Ether wants to do its own thing, then we can expect it to find support here with again previous support and also with the 100 simple coming in here, finding some supporting convergence here with that. The RSI is looking oversold on the daily, so it doesn't this even though the RSI is oversold and in the bearish territory, does not mean that it's due for a massive correction to the upside or a massive spike in price. It really doesn't. Some people say that it's a fail proof method of trading is whenever you see the RSI in the bearish territory and hitting these bottom areas of the stochastic RSI, and that's a fail proof method. You buy that indicator and just watch the price go up. I mean, you see it here, right? It touched it and then it went on a pretty good correction or a pretty good spike up, and then it touched it here, and then we went on a massive run here. But again, just because it's sitting at this range here doesn't mean that the price action cannot go further into into lower lows or lower territories, right? This is, again, I'm not looking for the RSI to tell me the bottom is in or the local bottom for price action is in. I'm actually looking at this as a momentum indicator to tell me what people are doing, how people are feeling, and overall general sentiment of price action or where we think the market's going to go. That's all it is. I'm not putting all my tokens into the RSI as a way to trade, right? It's just one of the indicators that I'm looking at, along again with the 21 and a few other things that I've been telling you guys about. So let's look at one last coin and then we'll call it a night. My voice is actually getting pretty raspy and pretty tired. Take a sip of water too. Oh gosh, that was good. So let's take a look at EOS. That's one I haven't looked at in a little bit. EOS did get a listing with Coinbase, and it also actually let me look because I'm working off of memory, and sometimes my memory isn't the best. So let's look at the chart first and look at the daily. So yeah, so we did get a golden cross over here, and then price actually started to react to it and actually work its way up. But then guess what, guys? Just like anything, I'm sorry, we're back to the same old tune, same old song. Bitcoin takes a dump and everybody else. So just like XRP, it got the nice, golden cross to the upside, and then Bitcoin decided to end that run very decisively today. So currently sitting below the 21, so I'm definitely feeling more bearish on this. And it already tested the orange 100 simple here, and it bounced back into it, but it's still below the 21. So I'm definitely feeling a little bit bearish on this one. Looks like it wants to test the 100 simple, maybe the green 55 down here, and see if it finds some support in these either two areas. But again, it's none of these coins march to the tune of their own drum. They all are highly dependent on Bitcoin, and so just be mindful of that. And as long as you are mindful of that, I think you'll come out um, better in the end. So yeah, so right here looks like it actually wants to retest the 100 simple here, and then just wait for Bitcoin to see what it's going to do. Otherwise, if we want to turn it around here, we definitely need to close a 4-hour candle above the 21. Currently, the 21 sitting at 68 or $6.86. If we do close a 4-hour or at least a couple, maybe a daily, this daily just started right earlier today at 5 p.m. So if we do close a daily above the 21, then I'm going to change my tune on this one and say that we do try to make another run up, which rightfully EOS does deserve after getting listed on Coinbase. And I can't help but think about when back in the 2017 bull market, we saw anything that was really, any news or rumors that would come out about any sort of project being listed in Coinbase. Just the rumor, right? The whole cliche: buy the rumor, sell the news, right? Just the rumor would have made this. I mean, would have made EOS just break the chart completely to the upside and just go on a massive tear. But not so much in 2019. We're still again. That's another sign that tells me that we're not. Even though I do think we're in a transitional phase, a transitional page, new page in the Bitcoin market and cryptocurrency overall, um, this is telling of the bearers not really relinquishing control yet. They're still they still wanna pull your coins down and bring them closer to bear territory. So just be mindful of that. I wish we were in a 2017 type of market where just the rumor would have launched EOS into freaking oblivion. But okay, so guys, that's what I've got for you guys tonight. Again, I'm sorry about the short video. My throat is feeling pretty tired right now, but I'll keep you guys updated on what's going on. The other thing, lastly, before I leave you guys, I did want to show you this on Bitcoin. This is the previous triangle that Bitcoin was trading in. And also, I had drawn a. Let's look at the data. I'm looking at the hourly right now. But let's look at the 12-hour. That will actually work pretty well as well. So I had drawn this pitchfork here, and I had told you guys that as long as we're trading within that range, we're okay. We're okay. There's nothing to worry about. And we had this correction back here, and I talked about it in one of my previous videos, and I told you guys, hey, we're still within the trend. We're still within this channel here. I'm looking for Bitcoin to make another move to this middle red line here as my target in the $9,000 range, above the $9,000 range. And I was looking for Bitcoin to finish that move, but it actually made a decision on the opposite end and just left. Actually, is trading outside and below this pitchfork channel here, rising channel here. And so that's another indicator that told me personally, I think we're in a state where we definitely have to watch it. We definitely have to be mindful that a bigger dump is coming. So yeah, guys, that's all I got for you. Definitely follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram at the Real Shaw 256. If you like the video, if you like the content, definitely give us some likes and shares with anyone that you think would find this information valuable. Let us know what coins you'd like me to cover. If you want to talk about something particular, anything in the news that you'd like us to discuss, definitely can do that as well. So, all right, guys. Well, it's been a pleasure. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great night.